Hilton Head Island, sometimes referred to as simply Hilton Head, is a low-country resort town located on an island of the same name in Beaufort County, South Carolina, United States. It is 20 miles northeast of Savannah, Georgia, and 95 miles southwest of Charleston. The island is named after Captain William Hilton, who in 1663 identified a headland near the entrance to Port Royal Sound, which he named Hilton's Head, after himself. The island features 12 miles of beachfront on the Atlantic Ocean and is a popular vacation destination. In 2004, an estimated 2.25 million visitors pumped more than $1.5 billion into the local economy. The year-round population was 37,099 at the 2010 census, although during the peak of summer vacation season the population can swell to 275,000. Over the past decade, the island's population growth rate was 32%. Hilton Head Island is a primary city within the Hilton Head Island Bluffton-Beaufort, SC Metropolitan Statistical Area. The island has a rich history that started with seasonal occupation by Native Americans thousands of years ago, and continued with European exploration and the Sea Island cotton trade. It became an important base of operations for the Union blockade of the southern ports during the Civil War. Once the island fell to Union troops, hundreds of ex-slaves flocked to Hilton Head, which is still home to many native islanders, many of whom are descendants of freed slaves known as the Gullah, who have managed to hold on to much of their ethnic and cultural identity. The town of Hilton Head Island incorporated as a municipality in 1983 and is well known for its eco-friendly development. The town's Natural Resources Division enforces the Land Management Ordinance, which minimizes the impact of development and governs the style of buildings and how they are situated amongst existing trees. As a result, Hilton Head Island enjoys an unusual amount of tree cover relative to the amount of development. Approximately 70% of the island, including most of the tourist areas, is located inside gated communities. However, the town maintains several public beach access points, including one for the exclusive use of town residents, who have approved several multi-million-dollar land-buying bond referendums to control commercial growth. Hilton Head Island offers an unusual number of cultural opportunities for a community its size, including Broadway-quality plays at the Arts Center of Coastal Carolina, the 120-member full chorus of the Hilton Head Choral Society, the highly rated Hilton Head Symphony Orchestra, the largest annual outdoor, tented wine tasting event on the East Coast, and several other annual community festivals. It also hosts the Heritage Golf Classic, a PGA Tour tournament played on the Harbor Town Golf Links in Sea Pines Resort. History. New World discovery. The Sea Pines Shell Ring can be seen near the east entrance to the Sea Pines Forest Preserve. The ring, one of only 20 in existence, is 150 feet in diameter and is believed to be over 15,000 years old. Archaeologists believe that the ring was a refuse heap, created by Indians who lived in the interior of the ring, which was kept clear and used as a common area. 2 other shell rings on Hilton Head were destroyed when the shells were removed and used to make tabby for roads and buildings. The Greens Shell Enclosure, Sea Pines, and Skull Creek Shell Rings are listed in the National Register of Historic Places and are protected by law. Since the beginning of recorded history in the New World, the waters around Hilton Head Island have been known, occupied and fought for in turn by the English, Spanish, French, and Scots. A Spanish expedition led by Francisco Cordillo explored the area in 1521, initiating European contact with local tribes. In 1663, Captain William Hilton sailed on the adventure from Barbados to explore lands granted by King Charles II of England to the 8 Lords Proprietor. In his travels, he identified a headland near the entrance to Port Royal Sound. He named it Hilton's Head after himself. He stayed for several days, making note of the trees, crops, sweet water, and clear sweet air. 17th to 19th centuries. In 1698, Hilton Head Island was granted as part of a barony to John Bailey of Bullingclough, County of Tipperary, Kingdom of Ireland. Another John Bailey, son of the first, appointed Alexander Trench as the island's first retail agent. For a time, Hilton Head was known as Trench's Island. In 1729, Trench sold some land to John Gascoigne, which Gascoigne named John's Island after himself. The land later came to be known as Jenkins Island after another owner. In the mid-1740s, the South Carolina provincial half-galley Beaufort was stationed in a cove at the southern tip of Hilton Head to guard against intrusions by the Spanish of St. Augustine. The point and cove are named after Captain David Cutler Braddock, commander of the Beaufort. Captain Braddock was a mariner and privateer of note in colonial times. Earlier, he had been placed in command of the Georgia schooner Norfolk by James Oglethorpe, founder of Georgia, and helped chase the Spanish back to St. Augustine after their failed 1742 invasion of St. Simon's Island. After relocating to Savannah in 1746, he served 2 terms in the Georgia Commons House of Assembly while earning a living as a highly active privateer. He drew a well-known chart of the Florida Keys while on a privateering venture in 1756. The chart is in the Library of Congress. In 1788, a small Episcopal church called the Zion Chapel of Ease was constructed for plantation owners. The chapel's old cemetery, located near the corner of William Hilton Parkway and Matthews Drive, is all that remains. Charles Davant, a prominent island planter during the Revolutionary War, is buried there. Davant was shot by Captain Martin Angell of Dorfsky Island in 1781. This location is also home to the oldest intact structure on Hilton Head Island, the Baynard Mausoleum, which was built in 1846. William Elliott II of Myrtle Bank Plantation grew the first crop of Sea Island cotton in South Carolina on Hilton Head Island in 1790. During the Civil War, Fort Walker was a Confederate fort in what is now Port Royal Plantation. The fort was a station for Confederate troops, and its guns helped protect the 2-mile-wide entrance to Port Royal Sound, which is fed by 2 slow-moving and navigable rivers, the Broad River and the Beaufort River. It was vital to the Sea Island cotton trade and the Southern economy. On October 29, 1861, the largest fleet ever assembled in North America moved south to seize it. In the Battle of Port Royal, the fort came under attack by the U.S. Navy, and on November 7, 1861, it fell to over 12,000 Union troops. The fort was renamed Fort Wells, in honor of Gideon Wells, the Secretary of the Navy. Hilton Head Island had tremendous significance in the Civil War and became an important base of operations for the Union blockade of the southern ports, particularly Savannah and Charleston. The Union also built a military hospital on Hilton Head Island with a 1,200-foot frontage and a floor area of 60,000 square feet. Hundreds of ex-slaves flocked to Hilton Head Island, where they could buy land, go to school, live in government housing, and serve in what was called the 1st Regiment of South Carolina Volunteers. A community called Mitchellville was constructed on the north end of the island to house them. The Leamington Lighthouse was built in the 1870s on the southern edge of what is now Palmetto Dunes. On August 27, 1893, the Sea Islands hurricane made landfall near Savannah, with a storm surge of 16 feet, and swept north across South Carolina, killing over 1,000 and leaving tens of thousands homeless. 20th and 21st centuries. An experimental steam cannon guarding Port Royal Sound was built around 1900, in what is now Port Royal Plantation. The cannon was fixed, but its propulsion system allowed for long-range shots for the time. In 1931, Wall Street tycoon, physicist, and patron of scientific research Alfred Lee Loomis, along with his brother-in-law and partner Landon K. Thorne purchased 17,000 acres on the island for about $120,000 to be used as a private game reserve. On the Atlantic coast of the island, large concrete gun platforms were built to defend against a possible invasion by the Axis powers of World War II. Platforms like these can be found all along the eastern seaboard. The Mounted Beach Patrol and Dog Training Center on Hilton Head Island trained U.S. Coast Guard Beach Patrol personnel to use horses and dogs to protect the southeastern coastline of the U.S. In the early 1950s, 3 lumber mills contributed to the logging of 19,000 acres of the island. The island population was only 300 residents. Prior to 1956, access to Hilton Head was limited to private boats and a state-operated ferry. The island's economy centered on shipbuilding, cotton, lumbering, and fishing. The James F. Burns Bridge was built in 1956. It was a 2-lane toll swing bridge constructed at a cost of $1.5 million that opened the island to automobile traffic from the mainland. The swing bridge was hit by a barge in 1974 which shut down all vehicle traffic to the island until the Army Corps of Engineers built and manned a pontoon bridge while the bridge was being repaired. The swing bridge was replaced by the current 4-lane bridge in 1982. The beginning of Hilton Head as a resort started in 1956 with Charles E. Fraser developing Sea Pines Resort. Soon, other developments followed, such as Hilton Head Plantation, Palmetto Dunes Plantation, Shipyard Plantation, and Port Royal Plantation. Imitating Sea Pines architecture and landscape, Sea Pines however continued to stand out by creating a unique locality within the plantation called Harbor Town, anchored by a recognizable lighthouse. Fraser was a committed environmentalist who changed the whole configuration of the marina at Harbor Town to save an ancient live oak. It came to be known as the Liberty Oak, known to generations of children who watched singer and songwriter Greg Russell perform under the tree for over 25 years. Fraser was buried next to the tree when he died in 2002. The Heritage Golf Classic was first played in Sea Pines Resort in 1969 and has been a regular stop on the PGA Tour ever since. Also in 1969, the Hilton Head Island Community Association successfully fought off the development of a BASF chemical complex on the shores of Victoria Bluff. Soon after, the association and other concerned citizens, south of the Broad, fought the development of offshore oil platforms by Brown and Root and 10-story, tall liquefied natural gas shipping spheres by Chicago Bridge and Iron. After the Four Seasons Resort was built along William Hilton Parkway, a referendum of incorporation was passed in May 1983. Hilton Head Island had become a town. The Land Management Ordinance was passed by the Town Council in 1987. Disney's Hilton Head Island Resort opened in 1996, and the Cross Island Parkway opened in January 1997. An indoor smoking ban in bars, restaurants, and public places took effect on May 1, 2007. Fort Howell, Cherry Hill School, Dorfiski Island Historic District, Fish Hall Archaeological Site, Greens Shell Enclosure, Hilton Head Range Rear Light, Sea Pines, Skull Creek, SS William Lawrence Shipwreck Site, and Stony Baynard Plantation are listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Government. The town of Hilton Head Island incorporated as a municipality in 1983 and has jurisdiction over the entire island except Mariners Cove, Blue Heron Point, and Windmill Harbor. The town of Hilton Head Island has a council-manager form of government. The town manager is the chief executive officer and head of the administrative branch and is responsible to the municipal council for the proper administration of all the affairs of the town. The town council exercises all powers not specifically delegated to the town manager. The mayor has the same powers, duties, and responsibilities as a member of town council. In addition, the mayor establishes the agenda for town council meetings, calls special meetings, executes contracts, deeds, resolutions, and proclamations not designated to the town manager, and represents the town at ceremonial functions. Town departments include building and fire codes, business license, code enforcement, finance, fire and rescue, human resources, legal, municipal court, planning, and public projects and facilities. The town had a budget of $74,753,260 for fiscal year 2006-2007. It consists of three separate fiscal accounting funds: the General Fund, the Capital Projects Fund, and the Debt Service Fund. The General Fund is the operating fund for the town and accounts for all financial resources of the town except the Capital Projects Fund and the Debt Service Fund. The Capital Projects Fund is used to acquire land and facilities, and improve public facilities, including roads, bike paths, fire stations, vehicle replacement, drainage improvements, and park development. The Debt Service Fund accounts for the accumulation of resources and the payment of debt. On June 5, 2007, the Town Council approved a $93,154,110 budget for fiscal year 2007-2008 on the first reading with a vote of 6-0. The most recent budget, for the 2010-2011 fiscal year, is $74,299,720. Office holders as of December 2014. Council mission statement: to provide excellent customer service to all that come in contact with the town, to wisely manage and utilize the financial and physical resources of town government, to promote policies and programs which will assure the long-term health and vitality of the community, to encourage and instill job satisfaction for all town staff, to develop and enhance the professional growth of all staff members. Geography. Topography. Hilton Head Island is a shoe-shaped island that lies 20 miles by air northeast of Savannah, Georgia, and 90 miles south of Charleston, South Carolina. The exact coordinates are 32 degrees 10 minutes 44 seconds north, 80 degrees 44 minutes 35 seconds west, 32.17889 degrees north, 80.74306 degrees west, 32.17889, minus 80.74306. According to the United States Census Bureau, the town has a total area of 69.2 square miles. Of that, 41.4 square miles is land, and 27.8 square miles, or 40.17%, is water. Barrier Island. Hilton Head Island is sometimes referred to as the second largest barrier island on the eastern seaboard after Long Island. Technically, however, Hilton Head Island is only a half-barrier island. The north end of the island is a sea island dating to the Pleistocene epoch, and the south end is a barrier island that appeared as recently as the Holocene epoch. Broad Creek, which is actually a landlocked tidal marsh, separates the two halves of the island. The terrain of a barrier island is determined by a dynamic beach system with offshore bars, pounding surf, and shifting beaches, as well as grassy dunes behind the beach, maritime forests with wetlands in the interiors, and salt or tidal marshes on the lee side, facing the mainland. A typical barrier island has a headland, a beach and surf zone, and a sandspit.